Grand Rising Soul Siblings, it's Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of History's Lies. Today we're going to be going into some stuff about Gilgamesh. We're going to go into Genesis, and again, we're going to be talking about the caste system. I did a video yesterday about the whole looks of some of these buildings of antiquity, um, especially when it comes to I think it's the Temple of Jerusalem, and the fact that there are so many similarities when it comes to um, the layout of Washington, D.C., in that area. Uh, it also speaks on how the dimensions are almost exact, and some of the other things that will be included in that may be ruins or have been taken apart. I just think that it was an amazing find. But again, I'm just waiting to hear what you guys think. So anyhow, that made me start looking into the Greeks and Romans and doing just a little bit of research on that because I'm not really heavily versed. But again, my mind's eye is leading me there, so I'm going to go there. And I'm going to take you guys there with me. So I ended up watching a brief little documentary. Actually, my television went out last night. I thought it was maybe my stick, my fire stick, but again, I think it might just be the TV. I might have to just get a new one. So anyhow, let's see. So I was watching a documentary about the Ukrainians or Christians or something around the lines, um, and about how some people were shocked at how uh, when it came to those people, the Greeks and Romans, and how there's a lot of chaos going on at that time. Um, it also talked about like how some of the people that came to that area were surprised how the woman and the men were so affectionate with each other, and they put it out on Front Street and they showed it, and they didn't mind showing it, but again, I know that when we're talking about sexual relations, like it says a lot in the Bible, that we're not actually talking about a man and a woman having sex. It's a form of being together in a different way. Okay, so maybe like even building communities together, mixing, amalgamating, and being open with it, because it was a shock to some of these people that were coming into the area. I'm guessing to kind of get themselves settled in, but they see that instead of the people coming there and separating and taking the land from the people and um, from the origines, okay, and dispersing it amongst the people that were coming, they were actually, some of them were having sexual relations, but they were also building different governments and different systems with each other with no problems, okay? But again, you have to think about in Genesis when God wanted things to be light and he didn't want darkness there anymore, okay? So, and making it light made him happy. And he also went on to say that he wanted to subdue, which means to obliterate, okay, and then to subdue and replenish the earth. Now we know from this Bible study, no one's turning us back, that or this alternative Bible study, that the earth means the original earliest people. You might as well be saying the origines, aborigines, or whatever they would have been called before then. Okay, so it's melanated beings that have been on the whole entire plane, all the seven so-called continents from the beginning, that have been overthrown and their power given to the new alien immigrant beings that came in. And those are the living creatures that are the ones that are residing in the temple with God. And this is why, it's just common sense with things, something like this. I was just asking my husband the other day, how many, we're looking at this Ahmaud Arbery thing or whatever. Again, I think I call PSYOP anything that they use on this level. I call it a PSYOP. Trayvon Martin, same thing. More information came out about his father being a Freemason. Again, I can't tell you that I know exactly who, what, how many sectors. Some are good, some are bad, whatever. But it's just so funny that, there was a lot of information that came out to me to let me know that the media, or hmm or Medea, okay, are doing what they always do and what they've been paid to do forever is to create a narrative, a false narrative, just like they're doing with this, you know what thing, okay, that has us all sitting on lockdown and acting a damn fool with these masks on that are littering the earth even more, okay. So again, if it's about stopping the spread, this is not a good job. Again, the masks are useless, okay. So let's go on to talk about how the people saw that they were mixing and everything. Now let's go back and look at what even happened in Genesis in the garden when Adam, Eve, the woman, and the man, and the serpent, because that's at least five people that were there. Okay, um, and whoever else it was, if there was someone else that was there. I don't know if it was Adam. Um, I don't know if it was Adam first. Okay, but anyhow, uh, mm, and I can't remember what term they use is why I'm stopping to say who took the rib and went and took it away and made a woman and came back and blah blah blah. Okay, so again, it made me think about also in that book we were reading. There were different vases or vases, okay, that resembled let's see, something like this. Okay, they were showing all the different vases and stuff from that area. And again, they didn't have faces on them, but when I started to look at the creations of these people, I started to notice that some of them have similarities. And then here, you see here that there was no separating or trying to make it one. It shows you here that there were melanated beings and lighter beings building together and um, actually showing in their art and out loud. Okay, later on they had to go underground and hide some of this stuff because it was a problem. But we'll see that the it was also about ranking and also building, you know, with these people, not just about just having sex or having children. Okay, so it reminds me of the story when, you know, they pissed off God in the garden. And I keep telling you guys when it's talking about covering and clothing and this fig leaf and all these other things, that we can also, in a sense, be talking about skin and things like that. So again, when they're hiding in the garden, there's obviously other people in the garden, okay? If you really slow down and read it, okay? And use discernment. And if you have eyes to see, okay, you'll be able to see this, okay? So the thing I'm thinking happened was he was trusting the people to be there and start to build, okay, the temple of God. But instead, they ended up joining with the people and, you know, just being just fine. Just like we can say in antiquity that some of the foreigners that came over that were so called white people joined down in Mississippi in different areas. They were living amongst the American Aborigines, so called Negroes. And they were working together. Okay, so all this time, the system, the media, entertainment, these men that God created to preside in the east of the garden, which is Washington, D.C., in my eyes. So while this was going on, okay, what I'm saying is at an earlier time, Adam fell because he ended up doing this. And this is why he caused a separation between um, her seed and his seed, okay? Even going back to Genesis when he says that he created, you know, darkness was on the face, okay? Then he created light and he was happy. And light and dark must have been chilling for a minute together. And then he decided to separate the dark from the light, okay? So earth went in on earth, which is resembling to me melanated people from different areas coming in and being with the melanated people here. And then they had connections to, they were foreigners, aliens, or whatnot. Okay, and they had connections to other people that did not look like them. And again, first they had to get someone in here that looked like you to mix with you, like the darker Mongol and all these other races. Okay, and then they will be able to, and that's them tilling the earth before they can rain on it, and that's breaking it up, messing it up, destroying it, and demolishing it, so that they can come in and build. Okay, so like I'm saying, I think that the way that they fell was And we also see some discrepancies there when Eve does start to produce children, and one is like this and the other is like that, because one may have been a seed of the serpent, and one, I think Cain, and the other the seed of man. Okay. So again, the terms are tricky. You have to do etymology. Once you get up on your game, you'll be able to see what these terms mean, or and more taking in more information will be able to give you a better understanding. Okay. So again, um, let's see. Okay. So yeah, not to mention that these people were then ruined, and then a so-called foreign or European or white civilization came in and blotted out, like we're going to read now. Okay, the rest of the people, and or whitewashed, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we're going to read from the book first. It's very short, well, somewhat. Okay, only a little bit of reading today. Okay, and then we're going to go into the biblical aspect and then read a couple of verses from Genesis. Okay, so at last, okay, no, okay, well, yeah, we'll start there. Okay, they're talking about red ink, whatever, black ink, red ink, or whatever. So it says, at last, a little clay fragment gave the clue to the origin of the epic of Gilgamesh. The world owes its original composition to the Sumerians. Okay, the people whose capital stood on the site of Ur, Gilgamesh, and the cuneiform writing on the 11th tablet from the library at Nineveh, or Nineveh, okay, tells us decided to ensure his immortality and set out on a long, adventurous journey to find his ancestor, Utanapishtim. So we're just going to call him Shittim, because we are going to go in and talk about Shittim right after this. So I'm thinking that that was another way of breaking down the words. It's all about confusion and not being able to put things together. Okay. So from whom he hoped to learn the secret of everlasting life, which God had bestowed upon him. So this either means that God had bestowed this upon Shittim, okay, or something that was bestowed would be maybe, I don't know, put forth, or let's see, given, granted, blessed, or something. I don't know. Okay, so bestow, to give, to confer, to place. Okay, so again, yeah, to place somebody there. Again, here we go when talking about God placing someone in the garden so that he can keep it and do what he needs to do with it, and see what's been happening to us ever since then. Okay, so it says that, let's see. Okay, when Gilgamesh reached the island on which Shittim, we're just going to say Shittim, lived, Gilgamesh asked him the secret of life. Shittim related that he had once lived in Shuruppak, okay, um, and he had been a true worshiper of God Ea, okay, and again, Ea, could that be short for Earth? Just questioning. Okay, when the gods decided to destroy, okay, so again, when the gods with the little g, okay, maybe the ones that had been placed there in the garden by their father in a foreign land, a king on a throne somewhere in a different land in Britain or somewhere, anywhere, could be anywhere, Spain, whatever, okay. So when the gods with the little g decided to destroy mankind, again, we have man and kin, okay, in here, okay. So again, remember about the mixing that was going on, okay, and the fact that, again, God made them, put them together and was happy. And then after a time, he decided to separate them. And then he decided that, okay, we're going to separate it again. And then we're going to let this tree or this fruit, which is talking about lineage and people and groups, that can now sustain themselves, break them off and place them in different places. Okay. That will give life to the fruit that looks like them. Okay. Just like he told them to stock the ships and bring them in abundance. Okay. So let's see. So when the gods decided to destroy mankind, Okay, mankind can be something that's kind of like a man, but if they're not calling the American Aborigines men at that time, then we would be probably talking about man. Okay, okay, which would be the foreign entities. Okay, so again, we keep that in mind. We're talking about the Son of Man and all this other stuff. Okay, so mankind by a flood. So again, in order to flood something, what do we do? To overflow. Okay, to rise in a flood is from 1755. Again, we know what was going on in 1755. I think that is when the military was established, and George Washington or somebody prior to him was trying to get things ready and obliterate and subdue and replenish the earth so that they can move the temple or the abode of God in and over the people to bring them down really low and set the foreigners up really high. Okay. So again, to overflood, and that's just what it is. Okay, a flood, a flowing of water. Again, these foreigners represent the waters in the Bible. You can do the etymology, you can do the research, but again, that's what it represents most times. Okay, a tide, an overflow of land by water. Okay, again, dry land, that's talking about the land that did not want to mix, that was still completely melanated. Okay, so again, when he's overflowing the land by water, again, this is the same thing when Jesus and people are telling you to wash yourself, make yourself clean and everything. They're talking about to water down your uh, uh, lineage, okay, in order for them to be acceptable to God. Because again, he didn't like darkness, he wanted to make things light. This is just the facts here, guys, okay? So I was asking, I don't know if I was finished up what I was saying earlier, but I was asking my husband, how many stories have you seen that have made the national news and been overplayed of a so called white person that was killed by either a white person or a different race of a person, where we can actually go now and find the videos and the footage of them being gunned down, supposedly, hurt or harmed in any kind of way? How many stories can you recall, and if you do, write them down below, of this happening? If there had been a murder of a so called white person, how many have made it national by their kind or, okay, by another so called white person or a so called black person? I don't recall any stories making it in the headlines like any of the stories that have to do with um, so called Negroes, American Aborigines being slaughtered. And we can all, our children, okay, and we can all go and pull these videos up and watch them and obsess over them over and over. It is to lower your vibration and keep you in a certain state of mind, okay? And that's why I call them psyops, because again, I'm not saying no one didn't die. I'm just saying that even if they did, it's a setup, or they chose to use the story in order to incite something upon the people. The media is not there to give you any fucking kind of news whatsoever. Fear, propaganda, and all these things to um, manipulate civilization to comply with certain things. Same thing that's going on right now. Okay. So a deluge, and again, I think that I've read that the deluge, maybe even it refers to it as happening in the 1600s, in it's 1640 exactly, and a lot of the things that I've read. Okay. Noah's flood, a mass of waters, river, sea, wave, flowing waters, a deluge, okay? To flow, okay? A great quantity, a sudden abundance by mid 14th century. So if you go back and you see what was going on in the fourth day or around that time, right shortly after, God was telling them to bring some people, bring something over in abundance, okay? So let's just see what it's talking about in the fourth day, okay? Let's see. Mm, Okay, so I'm trying to just gloss over, okay? So let's just skim through. God said, let the waters beneath the sky be gathered into the ocean, and the dry land will emerge. Again, is this that dry land that we're, of course it is, okay? That we're just talking about in the other definition of flood, the noun, okay? Um, will emerge, okay? And so it was. Then God named the dry land earth and the waters the seas. This is why the waters and the seas have to do with maritime and admiralty law. Okay, fowl of the air also. Okay, um, and what is supposed to go on with their people. The Bible even states maritime families as some of these lineages. Okay, and God was pleased, and he said, let the earth burst forth with every sort of grass and seed bearing plant. These are offspring of the original people that are more than likely indigenous people. Okay, that's a second step up. Okay, okay, um, plant. Okay, and fruit trees um, with seed inside the fruit so that the seed will produce the kind of plant and fruit they came from. Again, who was going in bed with your ancestors, with your Aboriginal grandmothers and mothers, okay? And so it was, and God was pleased. This was all occurred on the third day. Then God said, let the bright lights in the sky to give the light on the earth, okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and flip over to this image that I have here, okay? Here, okay? Because also this is a form of a symbolic way of talking about the caste system, okay, or that pyramid, okay? So it's saying give light to the earth only. It didn't say to the waters or anything like that because they're already some of them. Some of them were dark like you or darker, way darker, because we have a reddish, yellowish tint to the American Aborigine, and some of them were light. Okay, just like in that image we just saw. Okay, um, and so he gave light to the earth. That means to amalgamate. Period. Okay, look at Maryland's laws about amalgamation and mixing in the 1500s. Okay, okay, by those godvernors. Okay, so to identify the day and the night. Okay, so again, they shall bring about the seasons. Seasons also mean changes. Okay, on the earth. I mean, again, it's bringing out different changes. This is how we have different races like Latinos and Colombians and different hair textures, skin tones, all this other stuff. No one wants to admit that this is what happened, but it is. Okay. So and mark the days and years. Okay. And so it was, for God made two huge lights, and the sun and the moon, which I think represent the sun. Uh, what was I going to say? Because again, it also means duality with the light is also could be talking about illumination or Illuminati. Okay. So again, two huge lights, the sun and the moon. The sun, I think, represents Christianity, and the moon represents uh, the Muslims. Whatever. Okay, it's just slipping my mind right now. Okay. To shine down on the earth. So this is all talking about the earth quaking, the earth changes. Okay, here moving and shaking the earth and tilling the earth. Okay. The larger one, the sun, to preside over the day. Again, that is talking about those who take the president, okay, to preside over the day, because again mm, they are in here. These are the Slavic or so-called white foreign immigrant people that are at the bottom of the house of God. You are not included. This is you down here below. And here's the enmity between the Americas and their seed and the foreigners in their seed, which can be a mixture of white and black, which can be why we see the checkerboard Freemasonry floor. Okay. So again, notice all the seasoning and all of the editing and all of the things that are going on with the earth. Okay. The larger one, the sun, to preside over the day again, and the smaller one, we were never supposed to take on that religion. Again, they're both the same to me. Okay. Couple of different things that go on. Okay. Um, and the smaller one, the moon, to preside over the night. Okay. Or we can also be talking about the day that will be coming um, forth from this fruit. Okay. And we could be talking about the night, meaning the dark skinned people, the darker hue. Maybe even some of these people could have been Spaniards with an olive, or maybe even a really dark Indian from like India hue to their skin, so called Africa, even Asia. Okay. Or but I'm just using like Arabic because again they like to say that those people enslaved us as well. So again, I'm talking. I don't even know if we may be talking about some type of a Moorish group. I just put things out there because this is just how I see them. Everybody's gonna see it probably different, but that's fine. He also made stars. Okay, again, the stars. This is a very basic translation, but the stars remind me of the military, militia men, and things like that that are going to join with them again here in this area here, okay, in order to control, okay, um, or to trod or hover over the earth, okay. And also think about stars as celebrities because that was the pleasurable part of it to keep you distracted by having people that look like you that are more than likely of the bloodlines that have been against you turn you into something that we cannot even recognize today. And it's the only group of people that have been done that way and have had people perform, and we invited it, calling our women and bringing our women down to a low standard. This is the only group of people that have no power in this world, really, literally, except for the spiritual inner. Okay, because everything that we had inside of us, the temple is in you, yes, and everything that they had inside of you, they have taken out and put it in a unrealistic approach, and this is why we're not turning around. Okay, until you realize this. And God set them in the sky to light the earth and to preside over the day and night. Okay, so again, that's their maritime day and night families, their lineages. Okay, and to divide the light from the darkness. Period. So that's when the laws and stuff come in to do the divide, and to even preserve or reserve the natives on their um, lots of land. Okay, and God was pleased. This all happened on the fourth day. Then God said, let the waters teem with the fish and the other life. Again, let the waters, okay, these are all people of the waters, okay, but let them team together, which is now they're in this thing, okay, with the fish. Those would be the calling of the people that came from the waters only, possibly, because again, these higher up elitist families, the ones that are still on top and have been honored, did not mix. But some of the ones that have fallen or you don't hear about or went a different way or went against God because they didn't like the way that the government was being set up over here. They thought they were fooled and they thought that it was going to go a different way. And they ended up being the abolitionists and the maybe the Whigs and some other groups that were going against slavery and the way things were going in the government. Okay. So again, and God was pleased. Okay. So let's see. Let the fish and other life. Again, this is all of the wildlife. Same way that natives have different animals that they link up with. Same thing when you look at the heraldry and the coat of arms and all of the shields and things that come with these people that have come here, the foreigners that have come. And let the skies be filled with birds of every kind. Again, this is the eagle, this is the phoenix, this is all those birds that resemble these people on their flags and on anything that has to do with them. So God created great sea creatures. Again, these are talking about ships, period. A creature is just something that was created. So again, sea creatures, which are boats that birth, okay? They come to the dock to deliver. See what I'm saying? The whole system set up around it, okay? And every sort of fish and every kind of bird, and God looked at them with pleasure and blessed them all. Okay? So he blessed them all. He gave them all of your goods, your standing, your nationality, and everything else. Whitewashed things that would be involving you, and so on. Multiply and stock the oceans. Again, this is with foreigners all the way up into the 1800s. I'm not saying that this is talking about that right at this point, even though we are getting close to the seventh and eighth. Well, they don't really say the eighth day, but I can see where we're at in history. Okay. So he told them, okay, and okay, so multiply and stock the ocean. Okay, he told them, and let the birds, he said, let your numbers increase. Fill the earth. This is all going, or this is the attack on the earth. Okay. Okay. The land, the resources, the people. Okay. Because again, you are the stepchildren of this group, the minorities, minor. Okay. People. Okay. So, in their eyes. Okay. So, that ended the fifth day. Okay, so again, it's also talking about let the earth bring forth every kind of animal, cattle, reptile. Again, the serpent, is a reptile, isn't he? So again, what was he trying to tell you? That you let them pull you into their religious way of looking to make him so ugly and evil, when I don't even see anything evil that he did in the Bible. God is the one that is stealing people's lands, killing people off of the lands, and putting them and bringing his favorite children and putting them on the lands. He is the one that is subjugating people. He is the one that is causing separation. He is the one that is going in and taking children out and not letting parents stay with their children. Look at what God does and look at what your government does, and you will see who this person that you really, this entity that you are really worshiping is, and why you are still in the situation you are in and made the butt of the joke of everybody. Okay? So again, and all kind of wildlife and every kind, and it was so. And God made all sorts of animals and cattle and reptile, and God was pleased with that he had done. Then God said, let us make a man, someone like ourselves. Okay, why would you do that in a diverse world? Because we're talking about the people that you're talking about. Why would they do what they're doing by only bringing your children to school to learn about their people, talking about so-called black history, which is only in the past um, 60 years, okay, to your children, okay? You see, mass manipulation, indoctrination. This is what the Brahmin, Abraham, possibly, okay? The eyeball with the light behind it on the back of your dollar bill is blocking your third eye, which again, the temple is in you and your heaven is within you. It's a higher level of thinking that has something to do with this crown, that has something to do with the crown chakra in the corona, which I think possibly could make us the virus, and this is why they're turning it on us, okay, hoping to get rid of us for the last time here. Okay, so again, we can move on. The warriors and the kings, these are the stars here. Okay, generals, all of these people. Okay, so again, let's see. And God was pleased with what he had done, okay, and let us make a man and someone like ourselves to be a master of all life upon the earth. So anytime we're talking about something that's on the earth, we're talking about indigenous people, which are natives. Again, some of these people are not they're still not the bad guys. It's the people at the top that have been playing the game and moving things around, okay? But it will have to come to realize, everybody will have to realize, and there will have to be order in the court in order for us to advance. And that's why standing on things and not calling yourself certain things like black is something that we need to do to move forward. But most of you really, are not even in tune with what's going on, and it's sad. To be the master of all life upon the earth and in the skies and in the seas. So again, now we've transformed it. So this is the president, because he's going to put him there to preside. And we will go ahead and look at what preside means. Preside over, govern. So is this not the government? Okay, 1610. Again, this is the sixth day. This is just the way I do it on this channel, y'all. Okay, so the sixth day is the 1600s. My Bible says specifically that this is a extended period of time when we're talking about the days. Okay. Okay. So stand guard, superintend, again, landlord. Okay. Father. Okay. Literally sit in front. So again, they're sitting in front, but now they're on top. Okay. So to place them before the original people. Okay, and take you away with that ab in the aboriginal from your standing. Okay, to sit. So what is the president doing? Okay, appoint governor of a province, chosen leader of a body of persons. Okay, again, a body of what? Christ. A body of what? The church. What body? Okay, so again, same thing in one of these books. It said that this is according to it was talking about the biblical aspect, and it said that it was a scripture that said something about the woman. Okay, the woman, it was the thing about the woman remaining silent. And it said that, what was I thinking? Because it says it in the scripture. But my Bible, I mean, most Bibles say because it says it in by law. My Bible says it in the scriptures. So again, scripture is law. You just can't decipher it because you've been given a false notion and false narrative and a false perception as to what we're talking about. Okay. So yeah. So this is the person that's going to be the master. Okay. of all the life upon the earth and in the skies and in the sea. So that's all the people in the caste system. Okay. Now, that's all these people, right? Because he's saying, let them be the master of all life upon the earth. That's indigenous, native, foreign, okay? And in the skies, again, that is the higher up people that are in that abode, the triangle of the caste system, and in the sea. Still, when we look at this dome earth, think about this. This is the great deep. Wasn't darkness on the face of the deep? Okay. So then this is the foundation of the earth, which is hiding under here. Okay. This is literal, but it's spiritual, but it's symbolic as well. Okay. The Sheol, Abaddon. Okay. Now, what do we hear about Abaddon? Okay. If you want to look at that, I think I did a video. Hopefully, I posted it about Trump or Trumpet because his name is Trumpet. Okay. The seventh, we can just go there. The seventh seal could possibly be talking about your crown chakra, and the seventh trumpet could be talking about Trump. So when you put those things together, and the fact that Abaddon, um, that's a whole different video. Okay, so Leviathan, the sea. Again, here's some of the sea that probably was mixed with the earth or went down. Okay, because then some of those people did revolt and go against the government with people of color, and they went against God or the government. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's talk about it because I'm ready. Foundation of the earth. Okay, so and then they fell as well. Okay, but then it just so happens that after Abraham Lincoln was so-called assassinated, okay, that Johnson or whatever, whoever it was that came in after him, reneged and took everything back. Okay, that was supposedly, who knows if it was the case or if it was another lie, because these motherfuckers lie all the time. Okay, so again, this is the clouds, the stars, all this other stuff up here higher. And this is the earth here, and the peaks and the hills and the mountains and everything like that, that they brought down real low. So basically, there's no more such thing, like the Bible says in this other book of antiquity from 1900 says, 1910 or whatever, that they brought down these peaks and these hills or whatever. They demolished them. Okay. So then once we get to that point, okay, God, heaven of heavens, the gate to heaven. Again, that's why you see George Washington standing there with that image that I always show you, with that ladder going up to the sky. The waters above. Again, this is not, there's not a fucking clear thing over the earth, dude. Even though it's probably flat, the structure really, okay, because if you think we're moving around on a ball, that's up to you. Okay, so this is the water above in the firmament. Okay, and then the sky, whatever. Okay, windows, doors to the heaven, whatever. Okay, so let's keep going because I want to just go there. Okay, so again, this never says that they're supposed to rule over you, meaning that we were never supposed to be citizens. So when you hear white men of antiquity say things like that, they were doing nothing but speaking the truth. Okay, so God made man like his maker. Like God did he make man. Man and maid. Again, maid can also mean a transgender or a female or a male. Okay, did he make them? Again, if you think that we've ever really, I mean, this is just, I'm just going to be out there because I've already gone there. So I really don't care what people think about me. But if you really want to think that we've ever had a real first lady and not an androgynous being, if you really want to think that most of these A-list actors are really females, think again. This is how they've been able to steer us wrong. Okay. So again, that was it that I wanted to read from there. Okay. Um, let's let's just read the thing from yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and stop there, and then I'm going to come back with another video. I don't want to crash it or smash it all into one video. Okay, so again, remember the living creatures again are if you're ever on Bible Hub, I like to use it because it has all different alternative things. It just doesn't happen to have my version of the Bible up here, so that's why I read from mine and show you guys this. But if you ever want to, look here, see what these words mean. Let's just try living creature to see if we can find out something. Okay, anyone, bodies. Okay, so the bodies of what? See, the bodies that we were just talking about, a body, flesh, lustful man, mankind, meat, men, and also meat doesn't actually always have to be talking about food. It can be a help meat, or it can be um, No, I'm thinking bread. Bread is about consuming the word or some form of it. Okay. So of animals, and we already looked at animals, and we know that an animal is also a human. Go ahead and look it up in etymology. Of men, okay, Genesis, the flesh and body of is constructed with stone. Okay, again, let's think about the fact that when they did the studies on the pineal, some people uh, that were foreigners had a calcified pineal gland, and the other melanated people had a substance of some type or some matter in there. Okay, so again, let's see, his body, and he shall bathe his body. Okay, yeah, dip them in water to amalgamate them. Okay, flesh for body itself upon the body of man. Okay, poured linen drawer, something, whatever. Okay, you can look through here all your own, but make organ of generation. Flesh for kindred, blood relations. Okay, okay. So these are talking about their bloodlines. Okay. Near of kin, again, they could have come through an Aboriginal group and then whitewashed themselves to no return. Okay. After 3 generations, remember? Okay. Man over against God as frail or erring. I was thinking error. Okay. Eyes of flesh, arm, flesh, whatever. Okay. So again, all living beings, again, living creatures, those that were created. They were created because they were either taken something from somebody else and then formed or given that, or they were formed, meaning they are offspring or indigenous groups. Look at the term indigenous, that were given their position in a sense. Okay. Animals, again, could mean people. That's what I'm telling you. This whole thing in Genesis 1, where the God, capital God, was creating, was about people. This stuff that you're talking about with these fruit and stuff, that is talking about the fruit of your loins or your loom. It is not talking about fruit on a tree. Okay? The creeping things, okay, that were creeping in. Look at what the creeping or creeping thing could be. Okay, it's something that is deceptive, something that is very sneaky, that comes in and see, okay, and then look at some of the coat of arms for some of these families, and you'll see that creeping thing right there on the shield. Okay, mankind again. Okay, so again, we're going to go ahead and stop there, and I will bring you guys back in a moment. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and to share it if you think that someone can use this for their studies. Don't forget to join us on Facebook at American Aborigines Unchained, or you can join me on Instagram at Shay_seeking for more information like this from me and others. So thanks a lot for watching, and take care.